Daniel Cormier joins us on the line. And Daniel, how was Buffalo?
It's great, man. It was nice when we got here, but then all of a sudden it got cold. Like yesterday, it was super, super cold. So I was like, what is going on? You know, we were kind of hoping that it would warm up, but it's a little cold today, but not bad as it was yesterday.
It's a bit of a silver lining, Daniel. They've been booking you of late up here. I mean, you were supposed to go in Toronto, now Buffalo, and much colder climate, but based on the ticket sales for both, Daniel, I mean, you've got to be really impressed here with the reception that people really want to see this fight, particularly in Toronto and Buffalo in very close proximity.
Yeah, in this region, we've done well. You know, we were scheduled for Toronto, and that arena did really, really well. And they got treated to a great night of fights. And then when they said UFC 210 was in Buffalo, when we came out to do the pre-sale, just pre-sale tickets were over like 11,000. So, yeah, I'm very excited. It's a positive reception from the fans in this region, you know, and it feels good because I wasn't able to fight in Toronto, and because people came out as much as they did, when they said the fight was coming to Buffalo, I was like, well, that's pretty close. You know, we can actually kind of make it up to them.
It's got to be, I mean, you look at the first fight and you had 3 weeks to prepare for Anthony Johnson, and now we go to the rematch where this fight was first announced at the beginning of October. This will be 6 months of Anthony Johnson on your mind. Are you kind of looking forward to this chapter ending and moving on to whatever is next, regardless of the fight on Saturday? I mean, Anthony Johnson has been occupying a significant part of your entire work.
Yeah, he has. But you know what? That's a credit to Rumble. You know, Rumble's a tough guy, a guy that has worked his way back into title contention. And it's not his fault we didn't fight in December. It was mine. You know, so because I wasn't able to fight, you know, it made it last longer. So I'll deal with him. But yes, it will be nice to move past this chapter and kind of go on to the next thing.
As the captain at American Kickboxing Academy, I mean, a lot of people, they think of AKA and they think of yourself, of Kane, Habib, and Luke Rockhold. And it's been a rough couple of months, injury-wise, fights not being able to occur inside of the octagon. Do you feel somewhat of that you are fighting on behalf of your camp this Saturday? Like, this is almost a statement for AKA as well of, hey, don't count us out, that we've had some rough months, some unforeseen circumstances, but this is as much a win for your team as it is for you.
100%. This is about the whole entire American Kickboxing Academy. I mean, you're right. You know, we've had a rough start to the year. You know, and end of last year. You know, from my fight, Selena, from my fight not happening to Luke's fight, Kane's fight, and then what happened to Khabib. It's very tough. But the problem is, it's bigger because you don't get that very often where one gym is in such big fights over and over and over. So the spotlight's bigger. You know, the spotlight's bigger and more people are paying attention. So, yeah, you know, I am going to go out there and represent my team, my coaches, my teammates. We all love each other, man. We fight for each other. We carry the flag of the American Kickboxing Academy on our backs when we go into the octagon. So, yes. This will be the start of another run. But I do believe, John, that it is attributed to us being such a successful team that the fights are so high profile that when they fall apart, it's like, wow, these guys are always doing this.
It's a point that I think gets overlooked by a lot of people when you're talking about the volume of championship fights that your team is involved with. And that is sometimes not something that everyone pays attention to, that per capita, your camp is right at, if not the top in terms of championship fight camps that your team is structuring together.
Exactly. You know, and I think people need to recognize that. So I do believe that, because of the level of the fights that we are involved, every scenario is much bigger. But you know what I think is even more of a credit to our team and our coaching staff is that all these guys, you know, every guy that's won a UFC title in the UFC, and every won a title in the UFC was built and raised completely from the ground up inside the walls of the American Kickboxing Academy. That's why I think our team's so special. Khabib's been there for like almost 10 fights now. And you see how much his game has improved.
You know, I know every fighter, the question that I think everyone hates the most is when you're going into a big fight or you are just coming off a spectacular win and you guys are always asked, well, what's next? What's next? You can't even get a second to enjoy what your last 3 months of work, and this is the payoff. You know, for you, I don't think you're going to get that question at all. I mean, John Jones is going to be in Buffalo this weekend. Is that divorced from your thinking? Is in the back of your mind that we're going to have to go through this again? Have you prepared yourself for this? Because that's going to be a shadow on this fight. And I think everyone anticipates that if you are victorious on Saturday, that is the direction.
Yeah. You know, I'm sure it will be, you know, yeah, but I'm trying to stay focused on this. You know what I mean? I could lose to Rumble Johnson and that could be it. You know what I mean? Everything that I work for is right in front of me on Saturday. Obviously, I want to fight with Jones. But if I don't get past Rumble, I'd never get that fight. It's just crazy that, you know, Jones, you know, a guy who's still suspended, who's still not eligible to fight, is even willing to be in the public view like that. That's crazy. That's so crazy. I would not be willing to show my face and do all this stuff until I was completely cleared and just free to compete and do everything else. It's crazy to me.
It was a surprise.
That's after parties and meet and greets.
Yeah, it was definitely a surprise when he was added to this list of events this weekend. I think everyone was kind of taken aback that he was going to have a presence here.
It's just unreal. It's unreal that someone can actually someone cannot feel that should I really be doing this? This is probably not the best idea right now considering, but that's who he is, you know, so he's going to just do what he wants to do.
Only have a few more minutes here with you. I have to get to the big question that I know a lot of listeners of this show, they want to hear straight from the source of Daniel Cormier, WrestleMania this past Sunday night, your impressions, if you could give it a grade and what some of your highlights or lowlights of the show were, because it was a behemoth of a show on Sunday, Daniel. 7 hours. I actually liked the Triple H Seth Rollins match. That was a great match. I liked that The Undertaker and Roman Reigns went last. I know Taker really struggled through the match, but I liked it. And I liked that Reigns went over on him. Because, look, Undertaker's old school, man, and I respect him for it. You know, when you're an older guy and you're done, you do the job. You do the deed. You get beat by the next guy. And I think things changed a while back, you know, when guys like Hogan came around and didn't want to lose clean on their way out. And then, like, I guess Stone Cold didn't want to really do the job for Brock. And, you know, a lot of times they've had those issues with guys in the new days. They kind of don't want to do the job. Undertaker did it the right way, man. You put the guy over that's going to be the next guy. And Reigns is the guy. As much as you want to boo him, he's the guy that the WWE's riding. So I love the way that went down. I thought it was great. I'm glad that they went last, because could you imagine Orton and Wyatt? It was a good match, but that couldn't have been the match to finish the show. Yeah, well, I mean, with those images of the maggots and the worms, I don't know if that one really hit the mark, but one that did was Brock Lesnar and Bill Goldberg. I don't think that could have been put together any better than that 4.5 minutes.
That was it was just all power moves. That's all they could do. You know, every suplex, spear, jackhammer, suplex, F5, match over. It was the greatest match ever. But there's high spot after high spot, and that's what you had to do for Goldberg. Now, I think that was Goldberg's best performance to date since he got back. I thought he was struggling in almost every fight that he had been in. But on Sunday, I thought he did a fantastic job, man. He did a good job. But now it's time to go. You know, let Lesnar and Strowman go at it. That'll be some good hard-hitting matches.
Well, Daniel, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Once again, UFC 210, it's going down Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern time from Buffalo, New York, as Anthony Johnson challenges this man for the light heavyweight gold. And look forward to seeing you in Buffalo, Daniel. Thanks very much for this time.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.